Hey guys, and welcome to the video. This video is going to be a little bit more personal rather than about the company, but I recently put on a 1-year transformation post on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of the accounts, and I got a lot of great feedback. Thank you very much for that, but I also got a lot of questions. So what we're going to do this video, we're just going to go through a lot of these questions, answer a lot of them, and hopefully you guys will be able to take something away from the video and hopefully be able to make a transformation of your own. So essentially, we're going to get straight into it and we're going to find out how I managed to get from here to here in just 1 year. So let's get started. Now, the question I got asked most often was what were my before and my after weights. So I know them in kilos, but I've got a calculator here, so I'll be able to work out pounds and stone as well. So my starting point, which is in the picture just here, I started off on 106.2 kilos, which is 233.6 pounds, which again works out to be about 16 stone 8. So whichever way that you use weight, and there's the breakdown for you there. And then the final 1 year transformation photo, which is about here, my weight was 77.9 kilos. So that's 77.9. That works out to be 171.4 pounds, which works out to be 12 stone 2, 12 stone 3. So that is a total weight loss of 28.3 kilos, which is 62.2 pounds, and that itself is just under 4.5 stone, and I did that in 1 year. So how did I do it? This question has been asked a lot, and to be honest, it was diet more than anything, training, determination, and consistency. They're the only 4 things. I did take some supplements, but nothing that you can't just go into Holland & Barrett or Boots or somewhere like that and buy something like protein powders. That was basically what I used. I will go through a video where I will actually tell you what I used in a bit more detail later on. But just hard work and education. Luckily, qualified personal trainer, qualified nutrition. So I knew how to do it. I just never really took those lessons on board before. So I knew how to do it. I just had to do it. So yeah, that's how I did it. Just hard work. And keep going when you feel like crap. Just keep pushing on. My motivation was that I knew what I was talking about. I know a lot about nutrition. I know about energy balances. I know how to give someone a great body. I just hadn't taken that time and care on myself. I was too busy focusing on other things. I wanted to start up Aesthetic Athletics, and I wanted to create a company that could help a lot of people, but I felt like I had to be able to show people that I knew what I was talking about before anyone would listen to me. Why would you listen to someone about nutrition and training if they were very out of shape themselves? No. Hell no. It was not easy. It was tough. I'd say the easiest parts were the beginning and the very end, because at the beginning you're very motivated, you know what you want, you're thinking about everything, and I'd just come out of going out a lot, drinking a lot and smoking a lot and eating a load of crap, so I wasn't necessarily craving those things at the time. But then it did get very difficult after I'd been dieting for a little while. It started to get more difficult. I actually had to look at how far I'd come to keep motivating me to move forward. There was one point in, so I started it in mid-October. There was one point in February where I actually stopped dieting and going to the gym completely for, I think, 6 weeks, maybe 2 months, where I just lost all motivation. And yeah, that doesn't sound great coming from me, but I want to be real with you. It isn't easy to keep up the motivation. But then when I looked at myself in the mirror after not being on the diet for 2 months, and I'd seen how far I'd gone back, that was luckily for me enough to re-motivate me to keep going, get back to where I was, and then keep pushing even further forward. But it wasn't easy. There's some tricks and some tips that, if you subscribe to the channel, there's a playlist which just talks about tips and tricks. There's a lot of stuff like that that makes it a lot easier. And obviously, myself being educated in nutrition, I was able to make it easier again for myself because I knew what I was talking about. But it's not easy, and that's one thing I just want people to know. Don't go into this thinking, yeah, easy. 1 year I'll have the body that I want, and I'm not going to have to give up anything. I'm not going to have to stop going out with my friends. I mean, you can go out with your friends, but you just got to be a bit more clever about what you do and when you do it. Did I have any setbacks? Yes, a lot of setbacks. I said before, I had that one time where I didn't go to the gym for 2 months. That was a big setback, but there were little things where I would be really good all week. I'd train when I was supposed to train, I'd eat what I was supposed to be eating all week, and then it would come to the weekend, or in my case it'd be a Monday night. I used to work in the pub, so my Tuesdays and Wednesdays were my Saturday and Sunday for what would be for most people, and I'd feel like I deserved to go out or have a few drinks and socialise a bit more, which is fine, but then I kind of fell off the wagon and had either too much to drink, or I'd negatively affected where I wanted to be. But saying that, I was quite lucky. I had enough motivation around me, so when I got up the next day, or even a little bit later on in the same evening, I'd be able to pull myself out of that and say, right, no, that's not where you want to be. This is what we've got to do. Keep going, step by step. Yeah, anyone can do it. I posted a video on a little while ago about the science of weight loss, or the mathematics of weight loss, as it ends up being, and it isn't a case of it's different rules for different people. Yeah, your numbers might start off in a different place, they might have to be different to create where you want to be, but essentially the science and the math is there. Anyone can lose weight, anyone can lose fat. It's not specific to the person of how they're going to do it. You have to be in a calorie deficit. That's the one lesson that, if you take away from anything, that's the one thing you have to learn. All of the science and all of the research pushes towards losing between £1 and £2 a week. That's about half a kilo to a kilo per week, and that's because you don't want to lose weight too quickly. You'll end up losing muscle mass for one. The energy has to come from somewhere, and we want it to come from fat. If you push too hard, too quick, you can start to lower your immune system. And also, yes, you do want to lose fat, and you do want to get there quickly, but you also don't want it to be an absolute struggle. It's a lot more maintainable if you're losing it at a rate that, yes, you notice, but at the same time, you're not having to starve yourself for hours and days on end. The hardest part was probably actually just listening to what I would actually tell someone if they were a client or if they were a friend that I was telling them what to do, but listening to it for myself. There were times when I'd look at the scales, and yeah, the scales aren't everything, but they are a good indicator that you're heading in the right direction. And I'd look at the scales after a hard week and I think, what? Is that all that I've lost? Was all of that just for that? Really? and it'd be so demotivating. But at the end of the day, you just have to look at it and think, if I was talking to a friend or a customer that had a similar result, yeah, losing weight every day, every week isn't going to happen. There'll be times where you might plateau for a month. But you just got to keep going. You just got to believe and trust in the science. You got to believe and trust in your program or your method, your nutrition plan, whatever it is that you're following. I'm very much as well an all or nothing person. So for example, I can't go out and just have one social drink and then go home. The person that would be the one that would stay later on. So kind of choosing when I was going to be more social. That was also quite tough at the beginning, but I just had to realise that my goal was more important than going out and either getting drunk and doing that. You can still socialise with friends without going out and getting drunk. You can go out for a cup of coffee, you can go out for a walk, you can talk to them on the phone. It's not all about going out and getting drunk, and that's one thing that at first I found quite hard to understand, but the more I got into it and the more I did with friends that wasn't revolving around getting drunk, the more I realised that it was actually quite easy. How did I balance diet, training and work? Okay, so I worked in a pub for all of my 1 year transformation, and I was working kind of not a regular schedule, so I'd be doing shifts. Some days I'd be working from 7 o'clock in the morning through till 4 o'clock in the afternoon, or some days I'd be going at 3 but not leave until 2 o'clock in the morning, 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. So I didn't really have too much of a pattern. So the best thing that I can say is to prepare for what your routine says. Don't try it. Yes, try and make your routine fit around the training, but essentially your training and your diet has to fit around your routine, especially if it's work-based or family-based or something that will take precedence over the diet and the training, and you've got to make it fit in. One thing that I found, especially near the end, really worked was for me to use my phone, and I would schedule training sessions in my phone as if they were going to a meeting or something to do with work. That way, when I looked at my phone, I was like, oh, I have to do this today. It's alongside, meeting with the manager and stuff like this. It was something that was written down, and it's something that I had to follow. Food prep was also very important. It was actually, in fact, along with what I said before, preparing the food was probably one of the other hardest things. It was definitely the most boring bit. Going out, buying a week's worth of food or 4 or 5 days worth of food, and then sitting at home and cooking it, especially when you've been at work all day and you've got to go home and you've got to cook your food again, and you've got to cook for a couple of days. That helps with the next couple of days, but it's long and it's hard, which is actually one of the reasons why part of Aesthetic Athletics will be launching a kind of fit meals to your door service. So you'll be able to pick from a menu of healthy meals, and we'll cook them for you, we'll prepare them for you, package them, set up, all sent to your house in chill packaging, and then you'll be able to get fresh healthy meals to your door to either put into the freezer or throw into the microwave that night and enjoy. That takes hours and hours and hours out of my day, or at least it did, and it was probably the most frustrating part. If I could have found a company that I wanted to use that do a similar thing, I would have done that. And that, I think, moving forward, now that Aesthetic Athletics will be doing this, I think it's something that is going to really, really help me in the future. Not only is it going to make my nutrition more on point, and the meals are actually really nice and really tasty, so I'm going to actually look forward to eating them. It's going to save me hours every single week, which now I'm getting really busy, it's going to be priceless. I actually didn't go to the gym for the first November, December, January. For the first 3 months I didn't actually go to the gym at all. I wanted to see how well my nutrition plan that I'd written for myself would work without even going to the gym, and yep, it worked great. it did mean that my energy expenditure was lower than if I was going to the gym. So to get the same results, I actually had to eat less again. So that's why come January I decided, right, I'm going to start going to the gym again. I wanted to start working out. I felt like my body and my brain was ready to kind of embrace training as well and bring another part of the plan into place. So yeah, but then after that I started training, and I was training 3 times, maybe 4 times a week. And then as my body started getting used to that, I started really enjoying training again. I hadn't enjoyed training for a long time, but when you can see the progression and you can see your body changing, it just motivates you to want to do more. So then I included more sessions. I think I built up to probably training 5 times a week at one point, but making sure that I had days off, rest days, let my body recover, especially being in a calorie deficit, which is another thing that is important. You want to make sure your body's recovering, otherwise you can get ill, you can get injured. Was I always hungry? No. Yes, there were points where I was hungry, and there were points, especially when I'd be going out and everyone would be going to a fast food or a restaurant that I would usually love to go to. Yeah, sure, there were times when I wish I could have eaten more, but again, it was probably more at the beginning. Once I started seeing the results, and once I started being able to look in the mirror and see myself and see where this hard work was taking me, it became easier and easier as times went by. I also tried to make sure that I was never going through a day where I was eating so little that I would be hungry, because for me that would be when I would give up, essentially. That would be when I broke. That would be when I would go into the cupboard and just empty the biscuit aisle at Tesco's into my cupboards, and then open the next day, empty them cupboards into my belly. So I knew that I had to make sure I wasn't hungry, because if I wasn't hungry, then I wasn't searching for food. So if I could make a nutrition plan where I wasn't going to be searching for food, then the foods that I had programmed would be enough, and therefore I'd be able to stick to it easier, and that's what I did. Did I have cheat meals? Yes, I did at the beginning. I do believe in giving yourself a treat, should we say, or if you're in a calorie deficit, it can be quite draining. So giving yourself more food for the long-term consistency and the long-term goals, definitely. However, I stopped calling them cheat meals quite quickly, because when I called it a cheat meal or a cheat day, which is actually how it started, that would just become a eat whatever I wanted day slash meal. And more often when I had these cheat meals or cheat days, it would ruin, if not the whole week, then it would ruin a lot of the hard work that I'd put in. So I started just calling these refeed days or refeed meals, or planned meals, as long as they're planned in my head. Or if they couldn't be planned, at least it would give me a ballpark figure of what I was allowed to eat during that day slash meal. That really helped me stay on top of it, especially in the long term. No, there was no point where I stopped eating carbs in the whole year. I personally don't think, unless your doctor tells you that there's a reason why you shouldn't be eating carbs. No. Yeah, there are different types of carbs. You've got sugary carbs, so you've got sweets, and then you've got starchy carbs, more complex carbs, like rice and potatoes. But no, carbs aren't the problem. There may be a specific carb that's a problem for you. For me, it's bread. If I start eating bread and toast, then I start to really crave it. Fried chips, McDonald's chips, for example. Once I have a couple of portions of them, that's it. I want them forever. But no, carbs aren't the enemy. In fact, they can actually be your friend. So, intermittent fasting is a planned starvation time. So you don't eat for a planned amount of hours. This can be this can start from you're not going to eat for 6 hours. It can also go up to 36 hours. I think some people even do it for 2 whole days, so 48 hours. I did do this, but I had it structured into my week. So the nutrition plans that I write and that I did myself, I had a day when I was eating quite a low amount of calories, a day that I was eating in intermittent fasting, so I was eating a fair amount of foods throughout the day, but I was eating them all in a 4-hour window. So I was essentially starving myself for 20 hours of the day and then cramming all my food into 4 hours. This helped me feel really full, and actually would stop me being hungry for the rest of the day. And then I'd have another day where I was eating essentially what would be my maintenance calories. Then I'd repeat that cycle, and then I'd have a day where I was actually eating more than my maintenance, so it would fill me up again for the next week of dieting. What next? So I have just finished the 1-year transformation. I'm very happy with my results. Yeah, I probably could have done a little bit better in a year. Yeah, the photos weren't, yeah, they're not photoshopped, but they're not like studio quality. That wasn't what I was looking for really. I wanted to keep everything as real as I could. But moving forward, my time is now going to be focused on helping other people, helping people like yourself or someone you may know, helping them with their goals and helping them primarily with fat loss, but with any goals, helping them get to where they want to be. I've stopped trying to lose body fat. I am actually now going to start training to build some muscle, and eating to build some muscle, so it's completely different for me now. I really enjoyed the and that sounds weird, but I did actually enjoy the year. It gave me a lot of understanding about where my clients were coming from when they talked to me about maybe setbacks they'd had or problems they were finding with the training plans or the nutrition plans. I've been able to see this from a first-hand point of view, which I really think is going to help me and the company in the future. But at the moment, the main focus is getting these videos and the website and the food and the clothing and the nutrition plans and all of the plans out there, getting them ready, getting them perfect for you guys. So if you are looking to lose some weight, lose some body fat, or if you know anyone that does, then I'll be ready. The company will be ready with all the best possible information and resources to help you get where you want to go. And finally, the most important tip that I would give you, or I would get you to pass on to someone you know that's struggling, would be to try and educate yourself about why you're doing what it is that you're doing. Find a diet plan that you think will work for you, and one that you can stick to over a long term, because this isn't a quick fix. This isn't a, oh yeah, take this pill and in a couple of days you'll be fine. This is a long term. This is, as I say, this is more of a lifestyle change, and the more you can educate yourself on it, the more you can have real belief in what you're doing is the right thing, the easier it is. And that's it. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I know it's been a much longer video than usual, but I did want to take the time. People have asked these questions, so I wanted to take the time to answer them properly. If you've got any other questions, please feel free to drop a comment below. I don't think I'll do another video like this, but I will make sure I get back to you if you do ask. And please subscribe to the channel. It really will help me out and the company. Or pass on the link to the channel. Send it to someone that you know might actually find all of the information on the website or through the social medias. Really helpful. The more people we can help, the better, to be honest. That's the goal of the company, is to just help as many people as we can. And hopefully we can become a bigger company, we can reach more people, and the more we can help educate and the more that we can help people get to where they want to be, I think the better everyone's going to be. So thanks again for watching, guys, and take care, and I'll see you in the next one.